Hello, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. Thank you for joining us. Okay, it is 2 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with the agenda and we can get started. So the first agenda item that we have is that we need to approve the minutes of April 5th, 2021. Do I get a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes of April 5th, 2021.
Oh, thank you,
Seconded.
Kathy Bent. That's so formal. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that I can set the poll. And please ignore the fact that it says approve the December college meeting minutes. Apparently, I don't have the update for that. So this says December, but it actually means the April. Okay, we have reached quorum and we have a majority. So that motion passes. 55 voting in favor and 8 abstaining. So 8 people are being honest and saying that they didn't actually read the minutes. That's my guess anyway. Yes, we had a motion, Claudine, and we had a second. I actually did that for the first time today. It was great. And you missed it. All right, now I'd like to ask if we could get Kathy Bent actually gave a very formal motion. That was a very nicely done. So I'm going to now ask for a motion that the college meeting accepts the committee reports. We didn't have a ton of reports this time around. I will talk more about that in a minute. But if I can get a motion and a second to accept the committee reports.
I make a motion that we accept the committee reports.
Second.
Second.
Great, thank you so much. And I'm going to stop sharing so that I can put the poll in. And the poll has been launched. Please vote accordingly. Okay, we have a quorum and we have a number, appropriate number have voted. So it is 71 people voting. That's 89% in favor and 11% abstaining. Okay, so moving right along to the next agenda item. We have no old business. We have a very short amount of new business. First, we need to nominate the college meeting chair for next year. So if you could go ahead and either unmute or I see Sergio has raised his hand. Sergio, you have to unmute. It isn't a meeting until somebody's asked to unmute.
I'm happy to nominate Lisa Heller-Borragini for the next academic year as a college meeting president.
Oh, I didn't see that coming.
And I'm happy to report that I'm making this with her approval.
I second it.
All right. Do I hear any other nominations?
I propose that we close nominations.
Oh, reluctance. Come on, somebody else. No.
Second closing nominations.
Okay. Claudine, do we need to actually, how do we do the vote if only one person is nominated?
So you still do the vote,
Okay,
do it as a formality.
okay,
So it's made and seconded and closed debate, so it's just
All right.
yay or nay at this point.
all right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and make the poll then. Okay, the poll has been launched. I'll give it another 5 seconds. Okay, I've ended polling with 93 people voting in favor and 7 people abstaining. Thank you for your vote of confidence. If nothing else, to avoid the duty yourself, I still accept it, and thank you very much for your faith.
Thank you,
All right.
Lisa, for agreeing to do it again for another year. You're being great.
Thank you, Sergio. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I must be a glutton for punishment. I do enjoy it to some extent, and I shouldn't have admitted that. This is not a lifetime term. All right. Next item for business is an open discussion where we should be having an annual evaluation of college meeting and governance. And so at this point, I had included in with the minutes and with the reports from committee reports, a link to where a college meeting actually sits in the website for the college. And I also kind of cut and paste that and put it in a document titled College Meeting Duties. So if you want to go ahead and open those up, but I'm also going to ask if Ivana would be willing to share her screen. We can see together where this sits. And the college meeting is kind of leans right into factually professional committee. But right there in that plus mark, if you plus college meeting, you'll see that we have the duties and the membership, but that's in the document I also sent. So we're tasked with every year talking about how it's going. Are we meeting our responsibilities? What thoughts, feedbacks, reflections do we have? And this isn't a particularly important discussion this year because next year, I know NEASC has renamed itself NECHI. I'm so used to saying NEASC, but NECHI has asked us in particular that that's a point that our college needs to consider. And it's very likely that we'll have a task force or some variety of method for evaluating college meeting and governance next year. And so this is an important reflection point for us to think about now at the end of this year. So I'm just going to stop talking now and open the floor for discussion, and we can facilitate this discussion. And if you could just raise your hand or write in the chat, I'll read out loud in the chat. So does anybody maybe want to start off discussion here? Because I do think this is an important discussion for us to have, is to talk about where does this sit, you know, within the world of higher ed? Like, how does our meeting compare? For those of you who are new to the college, you know, maybe have done governance in different ways at other colleges. Maybe we could talk about that if you have any thoughts or ideas.
So Lisa, I'll just jump in on a couple of things. One is thank you for this because you are correct. Part of our NECHI fifth year report, which we're going to be really launching come the fall, the beginning of the fall semester, doing some prep work in the summer, does require us to respond to one of the issues in the letter that NECHI sent us in 2018 regarding governance and participation of faculty and staff in it. So thank you. This is, we have done some work in the beginning when I first got here doing a survey. I think Kate Martin, there was a governance committee with Kate Martin, Claudine Barnes, myself, Kate Denver, and one other person, I'm forgetting the name of that individual. I think Mary, you were also on that. So I think this is a great way to start laying the groundwork for the next report that we're going to have to do for NECHI, our 5th year, which will be due in 2023, and we'll dedicate 2022 to doing that. With regard to a governance system, I come from an institution that had several types of governance systems. You know, to me, this is one that the college meeting sort of modeled on the New England town meeting. I mean, to me, it just seems very inclusive. And I think with some of the work that you've done, Lisa, on making sure we have lists for voting and non-voting members, I think there's just some really good points of clarification that we're working on. But I don't think I ever would have seen 135 participants at a governance meeting in my prior institution. That's no one ever wanted to serve a second term as the shared governance leader. That was some you really had to get somebody angry to have to do that twice. So thank you.
Sure. So this is, in fact, our college meeting manual. What you're looking at right now is a kind of the review of all the ways that this has been updated. It's in some ways it's our college meeting constitution, and it is a living, breathing document, and it does change, as you can see, that it's revised and revised again. And this is where it's published. And one of the things that I just wanted to note and state ahead of time is that we have made some pretty dramatic changes to FPC, which is part of this whole document. And that part of the website still needs to be updated and is in process of being updated. So you'll see that my document, I tried to attempt to address that in the college meeting duties document that I sent, and I cut and paste material, but this website still has the old jurisdiction and the old ways that FPC is being elected. So this website is not entirely accurate, but it's as accurate as we can get. And I don't know if there's another location for this material. Perhaps someone with more institutional memory than I might be able to answer that point. I don't know if Mary Beth Lavenberg might know, or someone else in the administration may know if there's another location for what we would consider to be a manual.
So Lisa, this is it. As far as the official documentation goes, and any changes that happen over the course of the academic year will be updated during the summer months to be effective for fall.
Right, and so I know that document has been happening in the back channels. Right.
Yeah.
But that has not yet been updated, correct?
Yeah, no,
okay,
because
thank you.
The year's not quite over, but it will be shortly.
Not soon enough for some of us, but
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you very, very much for that context, Arlene. Does anybody have any thoughts, reflections? We will be doing a deep dive into this next year, so it would be nice to kind of get some of those ideas, reflections percolating now while we have the time, given that we have time ahead of us here at college meeting to talk about this.
I've got a quick thought. Just out of curiosity, when we go back to face-to-face, what will these meetings look like?
That's above my pay grade, so maybe somebody else might be able to answer that question. And I see, Professor Allen, I see your hands raised, so you can go after this issue's addressed. Does anybody have any, are you going to address that during your 10 minutes, President Cox? Is anybody going to answer that question? Because that's a great question.
10 minutes? I only get
Well, that's technically what we're supposed to give folks. Of
Yes.
course, sometimes
Yeah,
we take a little longer. That's okay.
Yeah, and keeping in mind, it's still a moving phenomenon. So it's still evolving, but yes. Yes, I will address it in 10
Oh,
minutes.
okay, got it. Thank you. Okay.
And the reason that I bring that up, Lisa, in the grand scheme of things is, are we going to try to keep some part of what we're doing here? Because what I like about this is that we can use the chat.
Yeah.
So those of us who don't necessarily want to speak up, we can still sort of use the chat and various other avenues to get our voices heard. Is there some way that we can keep that moving forward, even when we move back to a face-to-face situation?
Yes,
Yeah.
if you'll recall, Ife, and this, it feels like ancient history, we were attempting to have it be multimodal last year before COVID hit, in
Right.
which we were trying to provide opportunities for people in our, community who don't come to the campus, right? We've got folks in Bridgewater, we've got people at the airport, and we tried to do it so we could have people be included, even if they physically couldn't be on campus. I do think that this is a superior model to what we were doing before, partially because I think we've become much more familiar with this format, and so more people are participating. I also think that given the space constraints that I'm sure President Cox will address, we probably can't physically have 120 people in any one location on campus anymore. So I'm expecting that we'll probably have a remote viewing for most of campus, at least to begin the campus in the fall. So I agree. I think there's been a lot of feedback I've received that this is a nice format because we can record the meeting, people can watch the meeting after the fact, there's more inclusive participation. So I would say that at the very least, I know we'll be starting the semester that way. And I'm sure that, again, the administration will have more to say of that. Professor Allen? You're muted, or your microphone's not working or something, because I can't hear you. Oh, I think you're frozen.
I might be.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
You're back.
I just wanted to say thank you to FPC. And, over the years, I've worked on the faculty portion of the NEASC, and it has come up, the issue of faculty voice has been a consistent problem with our governance structure, and it's come up in the reports as an issue. So I'm hoping that FPC will also, in preparation for NEASC, organize some discussion around that as well. That happens, as a way to be able to provide feedback for governance. So I guess I'm just asking you to ask FPC to organize a faculty forum on faculty voice in anticipation, like these other discussions for the Nietzsche 5-year.
Great, thank you for that feedback or thought. Does anybody else have thoughts or reflections about college governance? Do you raise your hand again? Did you want to talk again, Trish? No? Okay. Well,
No, I'm trying to lower it. Sorry.
Okay. All right. If there are no more points of discussion, I would also encourage if anyone has any thoughts or reflections that they'd like to email me, they can do that, and I will be happy to send that out with the beginning of the academic year, and that might be something we can talk. And Donna's suggesting also ditto professional staff voice in the chat. Okay. Great. All right. So yeah, I think we can stop sharing the screen at this point, Vanna. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And going back to our agenda, we're going to move on now to the report of the college meeting chair, which would be me. And I have, sorry to make you dizzy with all the sharing and non-sharing. I did want to share two things. First is that we have this college meeting list serve situation that's going on. There's little hiccups, bumps in the road in terms of getting folks joining the right listserv, not joining the listserv. Some people who are on listservs are not sure if they should be. Some people who are on listservs are not sure that they are on the listserv. So I just wanted to kind of say, we'll work this out. Please don't hesitate to email me directly if you want to get added or removed from any list. I can do that. the general rule of thumb, you can see in the college meeting page we just looked at, the non-voting members are non-professional staff, part-time faculty, and part-time staff, unless you're serving on a committee. And this is my understanding anyway, you can correct me if I'm incorrect on this. And the people who are members of college meeting are any full-time professional staff, any full-time faculty, and administration. So we are membership in that way. And any students can be members of college meeting if they are on committees. So if you want to have a voice, the voting voice, and you're an adjunct or a part-time staff or a part-time student, you would want to see if you could join a committee, and then you would be a voice of college meeting. There are supposed to be 10 elected part-time faculty members. Professor Allen is telling me, Trish Allen's telling us. And then I don't know that every professional staff is on a committee. I believe that if you're professional staff, you don't have to be on a committee necessarily. I don't know how that works. I'm not professional staff, but that doesn't relate. You're still a member of college meeting, right? Am I correct on that, Claudine? Yes. Okay, thank you. So I would just say also before we move on that I have a short image to share in the interest of just clarifying, because I know some folks think they're not getting the emails when they are. So what you'll find in your email box is this thing called the focused or other. If you have been getting the new college list, it might be in your other folder. We had a couple people tell me that. So if that's true, you can always move it to focused once you select that, and then that will help you find it potentially. There's also some other stuff going on that maybe that some folks aren't getting it who should, but that is one issue that might be addressed. So we'll work that out. And the real intent here isn't to like exclude and include people. It's more about making sure people understand who has the voting privileges. And please, you're always welcome to attend no matter what your role is at college. College meeting is an open meeting, so anybody can and should attend, and your voice is very welcome. Before I turn things over to President Cox, I just want to say thank you very much to the steering committee for all of your help this semester. Claudine, your role as parliamentarian has been invaluable, at the very least at reducing my stress. It has been so helpful to have you, and your incredible wisdom and knowledge of the parliamentary procedure. Really, really valuable. Thank you. I thank you, Arlene, for being at the steering committee meetings, and Ife and Rebecca, and to Caitlin Murata, our student. And I don't know if we have Kathy around or Kate around, but also really helpful. And what is her last name? Because at this point, I know she was married. Our staff representative.
Kate
missed her
Denver,
note-taking.
now Kate LaFrance.
Kate LaFrance. Okay, great.
She's here.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Kate.
Baby.
There you are
Baby
with your
Ellie.
with your cute baby. Very nice. So we'll be looking for a new representative to fit Kate's very large shoes next year. So Kate, unless you're coming back and want to be a glutton for punishment with the little one, we'd love to have you back. We definitely miss having you on the committee. All right, thanks so much. I'll turn things over to you, John.
Thanks, Lisa. That was very, very good there. As we get started here, I do want to reflect on the fact that we're at the last college meeting for the academic year, an academic year that I don't think anyone ever anticipated when they were making career decisions and thinking in terms of long-term goals, what we would be going through over the course of the past year. But I'm grateful through the work of many, through the support of numerous people, through the move to incorporate technology into our instruction, we were able to rise to the occasion and move forward. And as the process continues, I want to recognize the work of Vonna, Brian, and Kendra, as behind the scenes, we're working on producing the virtual commencement that'll roll out in a few weeks. And again, not the optimum that we would prefer, but I think as we look down the road, we will be back, and it looks like things are looking much more optimistic as we prime for the fall. Where we are now, the governor put out a series of updates last week, and while they're much more optimistic, at this particular moment, we have not had a detailed update for higher education yet. We are still expecting that to flow through the Executive Office of Education and DHE. But we can tell you that with the implication, as the governor said, that all industries would be opening up when it comes to August, we are looking at a return to more closer distancing, if you will, in the classrooms and the labs, likely approaching where we were 2 years ago before the pandemic happened. Although we're still planning to phase it down from 6 to 3 feet. And then once we get the word officially, if we're opened up to full capacity, we would do that. However, important to keep in mind with the scheduling, when we offer classes, at this moment, we're still looking at that break, that gap between when one class ends and when the next class begins, giving our facility people time to get in and to do that deep cleaning before the next class starts. Each classroom and lab and conference room will be provided a mobile filtration system to go into the room to treat the air quality, and that will be in place for the beginning of the semester as we move forward. And masks will be continued to be required. At this moment, we are continuing to strongly encourage everyone to get vaccinated. We are hosting a vaccination clinic on Saturday, May 15th. That'll run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we expect to have a few more over the course of the summer and up until the start of the fall semester. In addition to that, we're looking at an incentive program to help out with any students that may have to take time off where there's no offset for that time off. We would offer a modest credit to help them along their way to encourage them to take advantage of the vaccination clinics. As we move forward, we don't want to lose sight of what we've learned in adapting to the virtual education, incorporating Zoom into so much of what we do. And as Ife brought up in the discussion with the college meeting, it's my hope that we continue to embed the virtual component, whether it's online, synchronous, or asynchronous, depending on what the situation is. But when you have something going on like the college meeting, if we have an option that people can log into that remotely, taking advantage of a Zoom session using some of that D10 hardware that we have, I think that will enhance the level of participation going forward. In addition, we've also laid out some of the groundwork to encourage faculty to consider using Zoom when it comes to student appointments, to do the advising. We know that students like electronic communications. They like to text. They don't like to email as much, but the Zoom provides another option that we're able to continue to strengthen that relationship with the students. And clearly we don't want to lose that going forward. So that's something I hope you'll consider as we move forward. As we look at drawing this semester to a close, on Friday, we'll be distributing the yard signs, the I'm proud to be a Cape Cod Community College graduate yard signs, along with a sweatshirt for each graduate. And we hope that you will have the opportunity to come out and participate in that distribution. There will be a little gift And there will also be the taco truck available to have lunch with. So come on out for that. And with that quick overview, I would be delighted to take questions or comments. Woo woo. Or woo woos if you want to announce.
The vaccination, there's a question in the chat about the vaccination clinics. Yes, they're open to everyone. I had friends working it this weekend and they were texting, send anyone you know. So anybody can go.
And they're ongoing too, and space is generally available.
If folks have any questions, if you want to go ahead and raise your hand or put a question in the chat. I love tacos.
sorry.
It's not a question.
What is the date of that distribution again?
The 15th,
Okay, thank
May
you.
15th,
At what time?
9 a.m. to 1.
Thanks.
Pre-registration required for the vaccinations?
Yes,
Um,
it is.
there you go.
Yes, it is. A link will be sent out too, so it's really easy to sign up.
They're asking how many tacos are we talking here?
You know what? Have as many as you'd like. We're gonna, you've earned each taco.
Is there any move on the horizon to require students to have the vaccination as UMass did?
At this point, there is not. And the Board of Higher Education has been asked the question as well, since the board covers state universities and community colleges. And at this point, they are not taking a position on it, so it's continuing to be voluntary.
So May 7th is for the graduation yard signs, correct? And then also what time
And
of,
the tacos,
we had the tacos, and it's at 11 to 2 and 4 to 7.
yes. And if you have other questions along the way, don't hesitate to call or to email. We'll get you an answer.
Okay, should the park somewhere special? Maura is asking.
They're actually going to do it at in lot 10, so it will be inside of the gymnasium. The vaccines will be done, if that's the vaccine question.
Yeah, I guess the question of where to park is a good question in terms of clarifying, Maura. Do you mean for the tacos or do you mean for the vaccination? Close to the trucks as you can.
Oh, yeah. We'll have people out there to direct you.
I think we're getting a little silly at the end of the year. Okay, thank you so much. I think that tacos notwithstanding, we're going to have to try to maintain our focus here. Academic of Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs, Arlene, it is your turn. You're up to bat.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. I get to compete with tacos. First, I do want to thank President Cox, though, for taking the lead on organizing clinics for vaccines, especially since many of us have been concerned about the statement that Massachusetts community colleges wouldn't be requiring students to vaccinate. So thank you to President Cox and Vice President Clark for organizing these clinics, and please get the word out to your students. I think that is going to be the way that we can encourage more vaccination among our students and also among our faculty and staff. And yes, don't forget at the end of the week, come for your taco and a special gift. I think it's a really good way to celebrate our students, but also to celebrate and acknowledge our faculty and staff. This is Teacher Appreciation Week, and that'll be our way to culminate the activities and celebration for that week as well, and celebrate you as well as our students and our faculty and staff. I do just a couple of things to talk about. I'm really excited about Professional Development Day on May 10th. It's going to be a short abbreviated version. We're going to try to do, I know there was a desire to do on campus only or some mix of campus and Zoom, because I do recognize, we all recognize that after a year and a half of complete Zoom, you might be a little tired of yet more Zoom meetings. So to that end, we are going to start at 9 o'clock. Well, we haven't announced a theme yet. I do want to look at it as moving forward, post-vaccinated world. And Tom will be presenting on a HyFlex Fellowship Program. And if you are interested, we will send out a registration link if you want to be one of those on campus, distance and masked. We welcome you to do that during Tom's presentation. We will also have Professor Trish Allen and Professor Rachel Bancroft talking about some of the workshops that we are doing in the future this summer for faculty and staff, as well as Tim Girolami will be presenting on OERs. We really are looking at moving forward. What is the future like for us as an institution? How do we teach? Think about it. This time last year, we really were looking at Zoom and remote learning as an emergency, something critical that we needed to do because of the pandemic. And right now we are switching that and transitioning into using Zoom, remote, HyFlex as a genuine modality for our students. As I've said many times to some of you on this in meetings, it was a lot easier to go into lockdown than it is to come out of it, because a lot of our students are still facing childcare issues and employment issues. So as best we can to provide multiple ways that we offer our courses to help students complete, I think that is the future for us as a community college. So thank you all for really working on that. I really appreciate the time that that you've taken to develop that. At some point, not today, but I've been asking Shuchi to get some data about student success rates in the fall with remote and with online learning, knowing that we would use remote a little more and make it a kind of a regular modality. Students did very, very well in their remote classes. So I thank you all for taking a new modality and really making it successful. Please encourage your students to fill out a survey that we've sent out. We sent out a survey, a student attitudinal survey about the past semester, about the different modalities, and that will inform a lot of our decisions moving forward. So please encourage your students to do that. Again, looking for PD Day, student survey. Okay, I think we're moving along nicely. Looking forward to next year, discussing more about NECHI and getting to work on NECHI, just a little preview on next year. We will be developing an equity plan. We will be welcoming a new Dean of Retention and Completion, we hope, and so we will be looking at retention plans with our new Dean. We will thank you for those who've signed up for the Texting for Retention campaign, also another very successful group that we're working on. We'll be moving ahead with Signalvine, and hopefully we will be able to offer faculty advisors and all advisors the opportunity to text students during the advising period in the fall. With regard to any kind of deadline, nope. Right now I figure we'll keep it open until the last day of finals. So whatever day that is. I want to make sure that students have a chance to answer it. Again, we found these surveys. We did one last year. We did one at the beginning of the pivot, at the end of the spring semester. And I think they provide a lot of information about how students are adjusting to the changes that we are making. So thank you. We came from a very busy, very different academic year. We came out successful. I think next year, equally busy, but I know I'm very, very confident that we will be equally successful. I really do appreciate the work that all of you do, and I hope to see you on Friday so we could celebrate our students, but also celebrate the work that you have done. It's been an incredible year, and I am thankful to be working with all of you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Arlene. Chris, you are next to Finance and Operations.
Thank you very much. Welcome to all. Nice to see you again. Just a couple of topics. I have the budget. I've been working on the FY22 budget, so I'm actually finished up with that in terms of at least having it balanced. So the good news is that it does look like we're able to balance it. Thankfully, for some revenue from the state, modest amount of increase in enrollment projected. Fees will be, general fee will be retained at level. So that created a little bit of a challenge, but I think for the students, it will be a real positive. In terms of, yeah, budget overall, a modest amount of requests, well, actually a significant amount of requests for positions. So we're only able to address a few of those. So out of the 20-something requests, we have about 3 that we've been able to provide for in the budget. So modest revenue means modest expense growth. In terms of the science building, I just wanted to give people a sense for the science building. I actually kind of reoriented myself. So hopefully as I do these in the future, you'll see the building coming up out of the skyline behind me. The foundation is close to being done. And the bridge that connects, or the bridge that used to be there, that connects the old science building with the Commons building is currently down. That temporary bridge will be installed for September. So we do anticipate that that work will be done, and the connection that was there will be there for a temporary basis until the science building is complete. Just on the vaccinations, just so people are aware, that May 15th, it is J&J that they're administering, and the county does offer Pfizer as well. So as we do additional clinics as we move forward, we'll see if we can get those offerings. So if you have an issue or concern, I think the J&J, the good news about that is it's one and done. I know that recently there's been some issue with that, but just people can take their own counsel in terms of it. And then just on a positive one, I got word from the county today that we are at 46% vaccination in total, and 64% have gotten 1 dose, at minimum 1 dose. So we are well on our way to getting vaccinated, which is really good news. And then just lastly, on kind of a personal note, I'm actually going to finish my first year in June. So I realize that I have made it through my first academic year, and I appreciate everyone's been very helpful. I've really enjoyed myself, and I think it's been more of a learning curve than an education curve, which isn't good for me, but we're getting there, and I look forward to continuing on, and have really been enjoying myself and the people that I've worked with. So thank you.
The year that felt like a decade, right, Chris? Thank you. So there's a question in the chat. Thank you. There's a question in the chat I just sent to you that somebody already said earlier, but I want to make sure somebody answered it. If you want to punt it to someone else, that's fine. But what's involved in the registration process for undocumented students? I don't know.
Yeah, I would suggest there's 2 things in terms of that. There is a link that will be sent out that you could just click on. I think the only thing they're really asking for is just where you live. So they're not asking for a lot of detailed information, and that's through the county. The other suggestion would be that the hospital may be coming back on campus in June and July. And I know the hospital is even simpler in terms of their approach. Different guidance, different guidelines have to be adhered to by the county than the hospital. So I think there will be plenty of opportunity for everyone to get the vaccine that wants it.
Great. And for those who are on the phone, Laura Seabury just posted in the chat that she did a poll with sophomore nursing students today, and 67% are fully vaccinated.
Very good.
Great. Thank you very much, Chris. Moving on to the Student Government Association. I don't believe that Caitlin Murata is here. Is Caitlin here? If not, I will just either give an opportunity for Asher Hamilton to speak, or I can jump in and just give a real quick overview that the students are in the middle of their election process. And we've had I've had the really incredible opportunity to work with some of these students that are the crop for next year. And they're just really committed, involved students. It's amazing how many clubs they're in. I think they're in a combined total of like 15 clubs if you take all of them. I don't know how involved that time, but they're just really a really diverse group of students we've got involved. And I'm really looking forward to having that be, oh yeah, and Sheila, why don't you speak? You're the SGA advisor. Sheila, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the elections?
Oh, hi guys. So I see Asher's on. So, but we had a really great 3 events. We did videotape at the last event, which we were super excited about. Super polished as they come with our last forum that we had, and we had candidates for every single spot, which was wonderful. These students really do care about each other. they're wishing each other happy birthday. It's kind of hilarious. It's a great group of students, and they've really worked very hard this year from the point that we came in with Caitlin and Lindsay and have really broadened this out and have had the Constitution now be ready to go. And then now we have an actual group of students who will have hopefully a full SGA coming up. The elections are finishing up at the end of this week, and we'll have our election results. The surveys went out at the end of last week, and we're super excited. I think the students are really excited, and it is a great group of students who are ready to put into action with their words. They're very involved students, and we're excited for it. So stay posted for the election results.
I'd like to add as well, we are having an exciting year this year. From what I hear, from the last 8 years, we're actually having more students involved than ever before. I'd also like to echo what Sheila has just said. Our students are ready to serve the student body here at 4Cs, and they can't wait until they start their positions in the fall. The polls are open until midnight this coming Wednesday, and we've had more votes than I could imagine, so close to the end of the semester. So once again, we're going to have an exciting year that starts in the fall. Thanks a lot.
Okay, great. So we are just going to move on now to back to the agenda. And we have just a couple of announcements. And so if you do have an announcement and were shy or forgot to send me a note, stay tuned. We'll have an opportunity at the end. So we're going to start with Kate. Kate Condon has an announcement for assessment. Kate?
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you all. I will confess this is my first college meeting, and while I don't normally get nervous speaking, it's really funny how that dynamic, changes things for you. So I'm back working in my role as the assessment coordinator, and I'm really excited to speak with everybody about what we're doing in assessment right now and where we want to go. And so to provide some time for this, in May, sort of the end of May, the 20th, 21st, and 24th, I'm going to hold some 2-hour listening sessions where we can get together and share our ideas. It'll be sort of similar to what we did last year. Due to the pivot, everything's going to be on Zoom, just again, like last year. And I'm really hoping for people to show up and tell me what you think. I think assessment often gets a bad rap, right? And I want to go into this thinking about assessment more as a mechanism for improvement than as a mechanism for oversight. So that's just a quick glimpse into me and what I think so far. And I can't wait to see you all. I'll send an email out to everybody with the details and the Zoom links. Thanks, Lisa.
Yes, thank you, Kate. All right, Kathy McNamara, you're up next. Scholarships and the Evening of Excellence.
Hi, everybody. I have just a couple of announcements. First off, we're giving out almost $258,000 in scholarships this month, and that is going to 108 students. Thank you to all of you who did references for the students and encouraged them to apply. We obviously can't have the Evening of Excellence in the same way that we have in the past. So thanks to a great team at the college, we are doing a virtual Evening of Excellence. So if you could save the date, May 20th at 6 p.m., and we will send out a reminder about this. I also want to thank the team that's putting this together. Nancy Willits and her events class really helped to imagine this event. Vana, Kendra, Brian are doing an amazing job. Patrick Stone, Andrew Nasser are part of the team. And I also would be remiss if I didn't mention my staff, Judy Widger and Katie Hegel, who have been working on this for months. It's a real team effort. I also want to mention the Alumni of the Year awards that we give out annually. This year, the awards are going to John Curley, someone I think is very familiar on campus, you may all know, and Leah Murphy, who graduated a couple of years ago. They are the two people who are getting the awards this year, and they will be honored as part of commencement. And finally, I just want to mention the 33rd annual benefit golf tournament that we sponsor that benefits the foundation and the college is scheduled for, June 28th. I know that you'll all be relaxing a little bit by then, and maybe you'd like to come out and golf. We do offer a special rate for faculty and staff. So if you would like to golf, please send me an email or take a look at our website. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. And next up is Josh Maloney. Talk to us about veteran affiliated students and other issues.
Hello, everybody. I am Joshua Maloney, President of Student Veterans of America at Cape Cod Community College. I have been working about the last year to try and improve the military affiliated services here on campus. You can see my virtual background. I have the current statistics up for the last semester that show the rates for us and for other colleges. As you can tell, 29% retention rate for veterans, 49% for all student. And as you can see, the other colleges are simply not like that. I'm working really hard to try and improve this. If anybody can get on my team, try to help me, please send me an email, joshua.maloney@capecod.edu.
Joshua, if you want to put that in the chat, and that way you have more opportunity. Thank you. So Josh is just interested in advertising his initiative, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the fall. Next up, we've got a quick announcement from Bill Berry. Bill Berry, you want to talk about Zoom support schedule for the for the rest of the semester?
Yeah, thanks. Hi, everyone. So I just wanted to remind you in my barrage of emails that we'll be doing 10 to 11 this week. Tomorrow's with me. Wednesday will be Tom and I. Thursday will with me. We're not doing Friday because of the I'll be at the college to cheer on our students. I'll be around on Saturday from 10 to 11 as I have been all semester. I want to thank everybody who's come in for support, camaraderie, coffee on the weekends. It's been great. Next week, Friday, the 14th, we will do our usual 10 to 1 with Tom and myself, and then I'll do Saturday, the next Saturday morning from 10 to 11. So come with your Moodle questions, triage, gradebook freakouts, anything you have. If those times don't work, please don't hesitate to email. I'll do my best to be in contact and set up a Zoom with you as needed. Thank you.
Okay. Next, we're going to have, oops, I just added you instead of replacing you. Sorry there, Vanna. Vanna has a quick announcement for us regarding graduation.
Thank you. Yes, just a last call, like absolute last call for any faculty greetings to the class of 2021. I just reopened the form. The deadline for submissions was actually this past weekend, but I'm going to open it for 24 hours. We only have about a dozen faculty messages to the class of 2020 right now. We have over 100 students that have either submitted a text message or a photo or a video. So would really love to get some more faculty presence in our virtual commencement. So I'm putting the link in the chat right now. And again, it'll be open until we'll do 9 p.m. tomorrow night. How's that? And I really have to shut it down because we have a lot of editing to do over the next several weeks. So thank you in advance. And that's all.
Thank you so much, Vanna. And before we go, if there are no more announcements, I just wanted to give a real strong shout out to Vanna. She's been my right-hand woman this year. I wouldn't have been able to run college meeting without you. So thank you so much. You've been great. Appreciate it. All right. Does anyone else have an announcement?
I just have a question, Lisa.
Yes, go ahead.
I may have lost a couple of emails in the scrimmage, but have there been any subsequent developments with this semester's professional day?
Yeah, we've had an announcement. Arlene Rodriguez covered it in her presentation. So if you want to, she just mentioned it today, and there was a quick email that went out. I think that there'll be more details forthcoming. Arlene, do you want to recap quickly for those who might have missed?
Monday, May 10th, 9 o'clock till about noon. It's going to be just a half day. And it's going to be, there'll be an opportunity if you want to come onto campus, masked and practice some social distance. We're going to test out or demonstrate, I should say, the HyFlex D10 monitor. So we'd like to have some people on campus, some people in their office, some people at home to show that you can use it and be live streaming to multiple places.
But there will be the option to do it, to conduct it via Zoom though, right?
Correct. Yep.
Making sure. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, last call for announcements.
Hi, it's Pauline. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just want to introduce and welcome Marty Tardif, our new office assistant for the in health sciences for the Diagnostic Technician Certificate Program and the CNA program. Marty joined us just a few weeks ago, and we're just delighted to have her. So welcome, Marty.
Awesome. Thank you. Maura's putting in the chat that May is Mental Health Month. Do you want to make the announcement, or do you want me to just read your chat, Maura?
Yeah, just to say that May is Mental Health Month, and the students put together a nice Stress Less week for students by students. And I just sent you all the flyer. If you could encourage some of your students to attend, one event this week to help connect with other students and win a free stress kit, stress-free kit, that would be great. And also, don't forget, this is the time of year where students get stressed with anxiety, get overwhelmed. So if you're concerned about a student, just fill out a referral form to the COM team or contact me through wellness, and we'll try to help them out. Thanks.
Thanks, Maura. All right, thank you, everyone. Do I have a call to end the meeting?
Move to adjourn.
That's what I'm asking for.
Second.
All right, awesome. Let me launch poll and we can go ahead and vote. Motion to adjourn. All right, that's the quickest vote I've seen all meeting. Thank you so much. We have 94 in favor and 1 person against. Somebody really loves college meeting. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day and have a great last week of the semester for classes. Enjoy.
Lisa. Lisa.
Thank you.